Let me ask you something real quick. How many times have you sent a text to a girl you liked and then just sat there, watching the screen, waiting for those three little dots to appear, refreshing your brain trying to figure out if what you said was too much or not enough or just completely wrong? And when she finally replies, you spend the next 10 minutes analyzing every word, trying to figure out what she actually means. Bro, I've been there. We've all been there. And here's the thing. Most guys are losing the girl not in person, but over text. Not because they're bad at conversation, but because nobody ever taught them how texting actually works when it comes to attraction. See, texting is not just communication, it's energy transfer. Every message you send carries a feeling, and that feeling, not the words, the feeling is what she's responding to. When your texting energy is right, she's checking her phone hoping it's you. When it's off, she's leaving you on read and not even feeling bad about it. So in this video, I'm breaking down 7 texting secrets that make her genuinely obsessed with hearing from you. Not tactics, not lines, just the real psychology behind what makes a girl put her phone down smiling. Let's get into it.
Number 1. Text with purpose, not out of boredom. This is where most guys go wrong immediately, and it sets the wrong tone for everything that follows. You're bored, you're thinking about her, so you text her, "Hey, what are you up to? How was your day?" And she replies because she's polite, but there's no energy behind it, no reason for it, nothing that makes her feel anything beyond mild obligation to respond. Here's the rule. Every text you send should have a reason to exist. Not a grand reason, not a dramatic reason, just something. A specific thing you thought of that reminded of her. A question you actually want to know the answer to. Something funny that happened that she'd actually appreciate. Something that says, "I thought of you specifically," not just anyone who would reply. The difference between, "Hey, what are you up to?" and "Okay, I just saw something that made me think of you immediately," is the difference between a girl who replies out of habit and a girl who smiles before she even finishes reading. Text with intention, every single time.
Number 2, be the one who ends the conversation first. This goes against every instinct you have when you like someone. The conversation is going well, she's engaged, you're both vibing, and every part of you wants to ride that wave as long as possible. Don't. End it first, while the energy is still high, while she's still fully in it. Say something like, "I have to get back to this, but this was actually a good conversation," and then go live your life. What happens next is pure psychology. She's left with that unfinished energy and nowhere for it to go except back toward you. She goes from being in an enjoyable conversation to suddenly wondering when you'll text again. That shift from satisfaction to anticipation is exactly where obsession starts to grow. The guy who always ends conversations first is never the one waiting desperately for a reply. He's the one being waited on. And being waited on feels completely different from waiting. Master this one and watch the entire dynamic shift in your favor. Number 3, never match her energy when it drops. Hold your own. Here's a pattern that kills attraction over text constantly. She sends a dry reply, short, low energy, maybe just an emoji or a one-word answer, and you immediately mirror it. You get quieter, your replies get shorter, your energy drops to match hers, and now the conversation is dying and neither of you knows how to bring it back. Stop doing this. When her energy drops, don't chase it down with her. Hold your own energy. Stay warm, stay interesting, stay unbothered, not by trying harder, but by not making her energy shift your problem. Reply with the same calm confidence you would have had regardless of how she responded. Because here's what happens. A girl tests your emotional stability through texting more than you realize. When you stay grounded while she's being dry, you pass the test. She sees a man who doesn't scramble when things get uncertain, and that steadiness is genuinely attractive. Don't match her low energy. Make her want to rise to yours.
Number 4. Ask questions that make her think, not just reply. Most guys do interview mode over text. How was your day? What did you do this weekend? What are you up to? These questions get answers, but they don't create connection. They're easy to reply to and easy to forget. The questions that make her obsessed are the ones that make her pause, the ones that go somewhere unexpected. the ones that make her feel like you actually see her in a way most people don't. Instead of, "What are you up to?" try, "If you could be anywhere right now other than where you are, where would you go?" Instead of, "How was your day?" try, "What was the one moment today that actually made you feel something?" Instead of, "What did you do this weekend?" try, "Did this weekend recharge you or drain you?" Be honest. These questions don't just get replies, they get real answers. And real answers create real connection. And real connection is what turns casual texting into something she looks forward to. Be the person who asks the question nobody else thought to ask. She'll remember that.
Number 5. Use silence as a tool, not a punishment. Not replying for 2 days and then acting casual is not a strategy. That's just weird, and she'll see through it immediately. But intentional, natural silence, the kind that comes from actually living your life and not being glued to your phone, is one of the most powerful things you can do over text. When you reply quickly every single time, you train her to expect instant responses. And things we can get instantly lose their value instantly. But when your replies come at varied times, sometimes quick, sometimes after a few hours, always genuine and never forced, she never quite knows when to expect you. And that unpredictability keeps her checking. She sends a message, and instead of immediately getting a reply, she has to wait. And in that waiting, in that small window of uncertainty, her brain starts filling the space with thoughts of you. Silence used correctly isn't absence, it's anticipation. And anticipation is the heartbeat of obsession.
Number 6. Make her laugh in a way nobody else does. This one is underrated, and most guys treat humor over text as just sending memes or making generic jokes. That's not what this is. Real humor over text is specific to her. It references something only the two of you have talked about. It catches her off guard in a way that makes her actually laugh out loud instead of just typing, "ha ha." It's playful without trying too hard. It teases gently without being mean. It has timing, knowing when to drop something funny in the middle of a serious exchange to completely flip the energy. When you can make a girl genuinely laugh over text, not politely laugh, actually laugh, you become associated with a feeling she wants more of. And chasing that feeling is exactly what obsession looks like. So pay attention to what makes her specifically laugh. Build your own inside language with her. Create humor that only works between you two. That exclusivity is part of the magic.
Number 7, and this is the one that changes everything. Leave her with something to think about every single time. This is the most important texting secret on this entire list, and almost nobody talks about it. Every conversation you have with her should end with something unresolved. Not a cliffhanger in a manipulative way, just something that plants a seed, a question you ask right before you sign off that she has to sit with, a thought you share that's interesting enough to keep processing after the conversation ends, a statement that makes her want to respond, but you're already gone. Something like, "I have to run, but I want to hear your actual answer to that tomorrow," and then disappearing. Now, she's not just waiting for your next text, she's sitting with an unfinished thought that has your name on it. She goes to sleep thinking about what she's going to say, she wakes up and the first thing her brain reaches for is that unresolved thread. That is what obsession feels like from the inside. Not manufactured, not forced, just a genuine sense of incompleteness that only your next conversation can resolve. And every exchange with something worth coming back for, every single time. Here's the truth about texting and attraction. It is never about the words. It is always about the feeling behind them. The guy who makes her obsessed over text is not the one with the best lines or the funniest memes or the quickest replies. He's the one whose messages feel different, whose conversations leave her better than they found her, whose name on her screen creates a specific kind of feeling she can't quite name, but absolutely wants more of. That's not something you manufacture. That's something you become. When your texting comes from a place of genuine confidence, genuine interest, and a genuinely full life, it shows in every message you send, and she feels it before she even finishes reading. So stop overthinking the words. Start focusing on the energy. Get that right, and the words will take care of themselves. Drop a comment below. Which one of these are you going to change about your texting starting today? Be specific. I want to know. And if there's a specific conversation you're stuck on right now, describe the situation in the comments and let's figure it out together. And if you want to take this further, if you want to understand not just how to text her right, but how to create the kind of deep attraction that goes way beyond texting, I made a video on the psychological triggers that make a woman fall for you deeply. That's the next level of everything we just talked about. Go watch it right now. Peace.